to see such a big crowd here today, all our top students, our UJenius students, and we also have an online presence. Very welcome, whether you're online or in person, and it's so great to have you all here. Some of you might have attended the previous 2 up-close sessions that we've had, so if this is your third one, you're definitely going to have another opportunity to meet new people, to connect, to form new relationships, networking, to start building your career and your life ahead. So very welcome once again. Right, for those of you who are here the third time, I'm going to repeat, just give the background of the up-close event. Right, who's here for the first time today? Oh, good. That. So if you hear it for the second or the third time, good refresher. Right. So first of all, we had 2 up-close sessions before. We have today, and it is really a great turnout. And we are planning a last one just before the year-end thing starts, starting preparing for exams. Right, so we will keep you updated through the UJenius Club. Monwa there, my colleague. So just be on the lookout for that. So first of all, the UJenius Club is hosted within ADS, the Academic Development and Support Center. And I'm Francie van Vieren. I am working with Monwa. We are in CAT, the Center for Academic Technologies, where the office runs from. So about the purpose, before I tell you a bit more about ADS, just what is the purpose of up close, right? We want you to be up close, and on a more personal note like today, you know, to have the opportunity to learn from and to get to know professionals in the field and to connect with them. And of course, with your students. To gain real-world insights from them in different areas. You will be motivated about student success, and that is where you are right now. You are a student, you're wanting to make a further success of it because you've already achieved so much, and you are role models for many other students. So that is that. And then also career development starts actually at high school, I suppose, but then you are still in doubt and not too clear what lies ahead. And here at the university, there are many opportunities to mingle with others in the field and to already have a firm foundation for your career. And then, if we're talking career, you also want to transition smoothly into the world of work. Have you imagined that, your first day at work? Some of you might go on to postgrad studies, but if you start at a new place, will you know what to do, what is expected of you, and how to what you have learned, how to make an impact and how to apply that. So definitely today you will have another opportunity to look into that. Very briefly about academic development and support, ADS. ADS in the university structure runs parallel with the faculties and with the college. So the DVC academic is Prof Khan, and she oversees all these academic matters. Within academic development and support, we want to look holistically at students, how to support you in the best way, how to develop you optimally, because you are tops, but we never reach the top, of being fully developed. It is, my husband has this movement with his hands. It's a lifelong learning process, right? So we have SciCAD, that is the center of Psychological and Career Services. I hope you know about them. So you can make an appointment at any time to go for career guidance, for stress management, being on the top and wanting to feel that you have to improve on your achievements can be very stressful, and you must also lead a balanced life. So you can make an appointment at any time to go and have discussion, a chat with him. Then we also have the Academic Development Center. Our first speaker, if you might remember, was Dr. Graham Dampier. He was from the Academic Development Center. And they also help you to develop academically. We've got the extended degrees there. There's a writing center. Also, you can go and learn from them about time management. The tutors and the mentors are running from that center as well. Who of you are tutors? Do we have a few tutors here or mentors? I see a few hands. Right, so that is wonderful for you as top students, UJenius students, also to have the opportunity to tutor and to mentor other students. And lastly, we have CAT, the Center for Academic Technologies, where our focus is not just to use technology because it's new and everybody uses it and there's a hype about it, but does that use of technology, like your learning management system, like all the other tools you use, does it help you to achieve the outcomes of teaching and learning? Right, so at each event, we have a speaker or two. Today, you are fortunate to have two speakers. We have Prof. Susie Graham. I'll introduce her in a minute. And then we also have Phelisa Siboyana. Where is she? Oh, there she's sitting at the back. I'll introduce her a bit later. She is from Standard Bank. And we will do thanks afterwards. But thank you very much because Standard Bank sponsored this Up Close series. So for the drinks and the food that you'll have, thank you very much. Right, I'll tell you a bit more about her and their interest in young people and the development of young people. Right, so you will not go away hungry. Right, now allow me to introduce you to Prof. Susie. Prof. Susie, she'll come to the stage in a minute, but she is the Senior Director of Academic Development, the Academic Development and Support, as I've told you now. Right, we all know her as a very energetic, very passionate Prof. Susie, and she is very passionate about the development of staff and students, always on the run. I sometimes tell her, be aware of a speed wobble. But Prof. Suzanne Graham, as she known, is a professor of international relations. Important relationships to have today. And at the Department of Politics and International Relations. She was formerly also the Vice Dean, Teaching and Learning in the Faculty of Humanities. So development, support, teaching and learning, all lies close to her heart. Right, regarding her research, she specializes in international relations and foreign policy. If we look at the world today and all the things happening, we know that that is something very important, a skill to have, how to manage that. Her master's research focused on terrorist waves and corresponding terrorist groups. That sounds very interesting, and I'm sure you might have some stories to tell me. Her doctoral thesis focused on South Africa's voting behavior in the United Nations, 1994 to 2008. Right. And her supervision for undergrad and postgrad students focuses on aspects of international relations, such as foreign policy, the United Nations, and other international organizations, and international conflict. And lastly, Prof. Susie's professional development. She's involvement. She's a member of the South African Association of Political Studies. Right, those of you who are interested in politics can definitely find out more about that. She's also the co-president and scientific committee member of the Regional Integration and Social Cohesion. And the RISE Consortium is headquartered at UJ's Politics and International Relationships Department. So, Prof. Susie, very welcome, and thank you so much for your time.
Thanks so much, Francie, for that introduction. And thank you so much, everybody, for being here. I cannot believe how full the room is. We had to bring out extra chairs. Since when does that happen? Thank you so much, everyone. I think it was word of mouth that there might be free food. Is that it? And you know what? Good for you. Keeping alert to opportunities is what gets you places and gets you fed. So well done for being here. And Francie, you're not incorrect about me speed walking. I was just with Phelisa at the bottom of the lift, gave Phelisa my space, and then ran up the stairs to be here, and then you joined me afterwards. So I think there's something to be said for actually speed walking through life too. You do get places faster. But you do need the support along the way. So I'm so honored and grateful to be here today because in effect, and I'm going to give my age away a little bit, but I'm 45. And I was a student at UJ in 1999. That was my first year here. So it's a long time. But in effect, I actually still feel like a student. I still don't know what button to press when I get in a lift at any of the rings to get places. I've never learned in all this time. And I've been a full-blown lecturer at this university for the last 18 years and a junior lecturer since 2005. So UJ is celebrating 20 years this year, and I've really been at UJ since the start of UJ and at RAU before that. So it's a long time to be in the same institution, but it means that I've been able to see a lot of change and really grown up as a person as a result of that. My whole life is basically UJ, and I could probably say that I'm married to this institution. I don't have a husband, so I can say I'm married to this institution. And I don't have children. But I have probably had, over the years, close to 11,000 students go through the system that I call my kids, my children, and I've seen them grow. So I've been in a very privileged space. And just to let you know a little bit about my personal experience, because when I came in 1999, I still didn't know what I wanted to do. All I knew was that I got enough A's in matric in order to make sure that my fees would be paid for in 1999. But I just didn't know what I wanted to do. I had no clue. I went to a very expensive psychiatrist in grade 11 who took me through a lot of tests. Who's done a lot of biometric testing here to try and ascertain what your likes are? And at the end of all of that, said that I might be good with creative writing. So I thought, oh, okay, I'm good at writing because the test says so. All right. I still didn't know though. So when I came to the orientation sessions as they were in 1999, there were all of these different departments selling their wares around why they were brilliant and why I should be part of their department, etc. You've experienced similar things, right? And so I found the journalism department and they seemed nice and I'm good at creative writing and maybe there's a kind of connection and maybe I would like that. Let me do that, I thought. Then at the time, you had to have a manual document that you would complete. That's how old I am, where you'd say what your electives were, the choices. At the time, I thought maybe I'll take an elective in psychology because that was about human beings and I liked people, so maybe that would be all right. But these are not really, well-considered things. It was just, okay, let me just tick off what I think I might do. And I chose history. And then I chose politics as my second major. Journalism was my first major. And so for the first 3 years, my first degree, I did journalism. And I discovered I really hated it with a passion. I really, really did, because I knew I was never going to be able to become one of those journalists you see out in the real world, fighting corruption with their pen by the courthouse, really doing what they needed to do to make the world a better place. I just couldn't see myself doing that. But what I weirdly found throughout those 3 years was how much I loved politics. A second major I just ticked off, and I didn't really know what it was going to be about. It's funny how life works. It guides you in ways you don't expect, and there's something to be said taking things on faith and instinct, and really trusting yourself when you say you know you like something. Now, politics wasn't, it wasn't easy. It was quite a difficult subject, and there were some things I didn't really enjoy, like risk. I hate risk, political risk. But things I did love, international relations, diplomacy, foreign policy, those types of things really spurred me on and made me interested. And this whole time, I had somebody right by my side that helped support me in all these decisions and did exactly the same things I did. Does anybody here have a best friend with them? A best friend that they've created since they joined UJ? Hands up. People, please say you've got best friends. I would be so disheartened if you said you didn't have a best friend in life. Okay, you're each other's besties. Nice one. Okay, do you have a best friend outside of UJ you can talk to about your studies, about life? Okay, I'm lucky because I had a twin sister. I still have a twin sister. Here at UJ, she also works at UJ, who started out with me in 1999, did exactly the same thing I did, and she split into the politics field and I split into the international relations field. We worked in the same department for a bit. She went to Monash, then UP, then came back, and I stayed the whole time. But the key thing is she is my bestie. Basically, I tell her everything. We studied together. We tested each other because we had exactly the same modules. It was a built-in best friend. I was very lucky, and I'm still very lucky that I have her. In my current job, I still talk to her about my fears every day, the challenges, what would she do around this? And because she knows all the colleagues at UJ, she understands what I'm going through and can give me neutral advice. So important that you have a support system. Now, for some students who come from rural areas, you don't necessarily have a built-in support system. You have to make friends at UJ, especially if you stay in res or one of the pauses or something like that. And that's definitely one of the key takeaways. Make friends as quickly as you can, whether they're in your faculty or not, because you do need that support. I could not live life without it. But I ended up being in the politics department. And I was just doing my thing, working hard, trying to be successful. I have the kind of personality that you have to be a perfectionist. You have to do well. Anybody else here in the room a perfectionist? I know you were because you were nodding all the way through. I know exactly you and me are like this. Anybody else a perfectionist in the room on this side? You know what that means? If you do something wrong, it doesn't matter if your lecturer tells you it's wrong. You tell yourself it's wrong and you're your worst critic. So you will say, I cannot believe I did that incorrectly. No, and then you berate yourself over and over mentally until you get it right. That's a perfectionist. So I have that personality for sure. So I'd work and work and work. I basically lived my life in this library. The journals, level 2, they're still on level 2, right? The journal section. I lived in the journals, flipping through, actually looking at the journals physically, opening them up and reading them to see if anything would link to any essay I might be writing. That was my experience. I lived there with my sister, basically. And then suddenly in my 3rd year, some guy walked up to me and said, would you like to be a student assistant in the politics department? He was a tutor there. I didn't even know him. And I thought, oh, that might be nice. They maybe have recognized that I like to work hard and I was getting good marks, etc. So let me see what that would be like. And I absolutely loved it. Fell in love with the politics department. Is anybody here a student assistant or would like to be a student assistant? If you can, try and go that route, apply. Make it known to the people in your department that you're keen to take on this role. It taught me a lot. It taught me, apart from not knowing about the lifts, but how to find other offices here in the UJ environment. I also went and fetched milk every day for the staff. I went and got the post every day for the staff. I found out about the B5 building and other areas. It was really a good way to kind of learn the ropes. I also got very up close and personal with all my lecturers in the politics department. They got to know me much better. I was very shy at the time. Oh, and by the way, when I say I mean we, because my sister was also a student assistant. Just take that at face value. We did everything together the same. Anyway, So we were in the politics department, and then suddenly, as a student assistant, I was being told about opportunities. There's an event at UP. Would you like to go with Professor Sadi to this event? Yes, please. Oh, you've been working so hard. Let me just pay for your trip to Cape Town to the SARPS conference, your very first trip. Okay, thanks, I'll go. I'll do it. Thank you. Please help me understand what a PowerPoint looks like. How do I do it properly so I don't look stupid at my very first conference? So those opportunities suddenly presented themselves. Book launches I've never known about before, really cared about or anything like that, suddenly getting privileged invitations to these and access. That's why networking like this is so wonderful. And thank you, Monwa and Francie and the UJenius team for making these types of things happen. And then suddenly, because you work hard and you prove yourself and it's consistent, I was asked to be a tutor. And then suddenly, after being a tutor for about a year, I was asked to be a senior tutor, a coordinator of the tutors. So I just said yes to everything. I just refused to say no. Say yes to everything. You got a little bit of amounts of money. It helped support the books you had to buy, etc. The rest of the time, I just relied on bursaries to pay for my fees because my family didn't have any money to pay for me and my sister at the same time, double trouble to pay for our fees. So working hard paid for all my fees. I was extremely grateful, but there was a lot of pressure because you have to keep up the pace and momentum. And one time I got only 75 instead of my usual 95, and I really felt terrible. I felt depressed. Because I thought, I must be slipping. I must be slipping. And then colleagues from the law faculty, they may be interested to know, because I did media law for one semester. And I got 101%, and they wouldn't allow it on the actual form. They said the computer won't accept it. So just know you got 101, but it's actually 100 on the form. So that's the kind of personality I had. I was extremely driven. But that's why I wanted to prove myself continuously. So after I became a senior tutor, I was in this privileged position to start offering advice to junior people in my own domain. So other students, they would still be able to relate to me as a student because I was still technically learning as they were, but I may just know the environment better and give them advice and tips and things, but also academic advice. And it was really eye-opening and a wonderful experience, and I miss actually being a tutor. And then from being a tutor, I was asked by the HOD to start teaching National Union of Mine Workers students about terrorism. Where does that come from? It's left field and totally bizarre. But because I was starting to work on my master's in terrorism, and so they said, we feel you're competent, we feel you're able to do this job, we've listened to you, we've given you hints and tips, try this out and see how it goes. It was a success. And then I started to be an assistant lecturer on various campuses at UJ, and then eventually applied for a permanent position, and became an actual staff member. And then from there, you just keep on working hard, you keep invested in the career you like, because I didn't realize when I came to university I wanted to be a lecturer. It was never on the cards. I said I didn't have a clue. It just worked out like that. I became a lecturer, and then I loved the lecturing environment. It's weird to stand behind a podium. I was walking around the classroom. I wanted to interact with the students. You know the feeling. You just want to see the learning and be part of the learning and create the knowledge together. And it was really, really wonderful and exciting. Created the Model United Nations here at UJ at Madabing. It was amazing. Everyone dressed up. Those types of initiatives I really loved doing. And then eventually became a tutor coordinator, senior tutor coordinator as a staff member, and then an undergraduate coordinator, and then the postgrad coordinator, and then the head of department eventually. Head of department just before COVID hits. And right before COVID hits, got the opportunity to apply through various supports at UJ, like the Women's Leadership Development Program, which helps coach you and helps you build your confidence and things like that. Eventually became the Vice Dean in the Faculty of Humanities. Who would have thought that would ever happen? That was never on the cards. And then as a result of that, people got to know me in various environments. I was sitting on different boards, making different contributions, and somebody approached me to apply for Senior Director of ADS. I applied just to see, because remember, I don't say no. And then eventually I became the Senior Director for ADS. But none of that was ever planned. So in effect, I just went with the flow. I went with the energy. What the universe was providing and giving me, I just said yes to. I applied, and it just always worked out. And now I'm in this amazing job where I get to talk to all of you about my experience. Whoever thought that would have happened? But it also comes with a lot of responsibilities over the years. It's not an easy thing to be a head of a department or a vice dean. You have to encounter things like managing people and managing conflict and dealing with terrible challenges in the world, corruption and fraud and mistakes and basically the imperfection of humanity. And that does not go well with somebody who is a perfectionist. So you have to continue to learn and grow as a result of that. So I still have to learn and grow. I have so much to learn on a daily basis. But now I have my own domain with 114 staff members, and I never thought I'd be in that position. So it truly is a privilege. But I think the key thing there for me is if I reflect on my personal journey at UJ, I had a constant support system with me, my twin sister. She really did help me and continues to help me on a daily basis. So you would definitely need that. I always work hard, even if that means you burn out, which is a very real possibility. And that's happened to me quite a few times. I work hard and I try to always do two things. These are the keywords that I've lived with for the last 25 years or so. That is, be kind wherever you can. Now, it's a very simplistic thing to say and kind of preachy. And I don't mean to be preachy, but it just works for me because I believe in good energy. You know, this is very philosophical, metaphysical, but I believe in good energy. If you're nice to somebody else, they will hopefully be nice to somebody else and it'll spread good energy, right? Now, if you're kind to somebody, it's as simple as trying to offer up a space in a lift or something like that, or letting somebody go before you, you know, in a till, a queue, whatever it is, something small. It, for me, makes me feel better about the world because there are so many serious things. And I'm in IR. So you can imagine if I let Trump affect me every day, I'd be squashed into the ground. All right. So I wouldn't be able to go on with President Trump and what he's doing because I would let it affect me too seriously. So you can't. You got to try and live by some kind of deep-seated philosophy. At UJ, we have these specific values. You know what the values are, the 4 I's. But I think in addition to that, being kind is a simple thing, and it's really got me places and made me feel like a better person on a daily basis. And then secondly, be grateful for what you have. This is a very difficult thing, actually, though, because in some circumstances, you can really feel that you don't have much. But if you focus on that one thing you do have, for example, your own thinking brain that's able to think, be grateful you can do that. And then spread out from there. It's amazing the change it'll make in your life. Because as soon as you get stuck in a rut of what I don't have and what I am ungrateful for, you'll stay in that cycle. Because I've also fallen into that trap so many times. And it's a difficult thing because we're not perfect people, even though we try to be. So try the very best to be grateful and to be kind. So the things that keep me up at night when I think about challenges in higher education, because now I'm even closer to those as the Senior Director for ADS, I see it all the time. I'm no longer lecturing, which is something I really, really miss, but I still supervise, thankfully, master's and doctoral students and honors students. So I'm still connected to the content and the work and the students. But I really miss the atmosphere of being one-on-one with the students and saying, what is your actual problem and challenge? Now all of these things get fed to me in reports, and I have to report on those higher up. So I'm almost like a rubber stamper in a way. You know, I manage things through reporting lines. But these things that I get reports on really do keep me up in light. So things like financial pressures and continued inequality for students. We are very lucky at UJ that we have the programs we have to try and support students with money where we can. The SOC Trust Fund, the UJenius Merit Bursaries, but it's not enough if you think about it. It's just not enough, right? We still need support for students. We know that a lot of the students carry the weight of family responsibilities as well on your shoulders. So any money you might be bringing in, you would probably have to disperse amongst your family members so that you can just survive. You're not just students. You might, in fact, be breadwinners for your families. You might also be caregivers. And imagine the responsibility on your shoulders to be those things at such a young age and also get qualifications, but also succeed in those qualifications. It's a lot of pressure, a huge amount. And the reality is very stark. Financial exclusion remains one of the greatest threats to students. We know this, to student success. And even when tuition fees are covered, what about the hidden costs of transport, technology, food, study materials that create additional stress for students? And we know poverty is not just about money, it's about limited choices, which is absolutely hideous if you think about it. It's hideous and it shouldn't be. It's about insecurity and about daily anxiety. By a show of hands, is anybody feeling anxious about life, about your studies, about finances, about work, about relationships, even more stressful? Most people have some kind of anxieties, right? It would be strange not to. Otherwise, you really would be a robot with no emotions at all. So most of us have anxieties and stresses, which is absolutely normal. You just need to know how to manage those as effectively as you can. That's why you need some kind of outlet or support system. We have a lot of these in place, as Francie mentioned earlier, at UJ. But sometimes you may just not want a UJ support system to assist you. Maybe you want something outside of UJ to assist you, like another kind of family member or somebody from a different university. The important thing is to have somebody there to support you. And it's impossible to ignore these realities, especially around financial problems. We have to constantly interrogate our own bursary systems, partnerships. Thank you so much, Standard Bank, for your contributions. We're so grateful to you. It's these types of things that are going to help sustain the type of university we want to have, which is a happy place where people are excited to work, want to get their qualifications, and if they mess up, have the necessary supports to help them get back on track. That's what the environment should be for students. There's also this challenge around academic preparedness. I absolutely hate this phrase. Has anybody heard it? We don't think you're prepared academically well enough for the university environment. We don't think you should be here. Have you ever heard that before? I hate it. It assumes that high school students don't have the capacity to adapt to a new environment. Of course you do. You're young people with elastic brains. You can adapt to anything almost immediately. So it's a terrible phrase to use. We do know that many of our students arrive very enthusiastically at the university, and maybe it's simply a matter of trying to adapt and transition as quickly as possible because it is a new environment. It's definitely not like high school. You have to really become very independent and very responsible very quickly, and you might be completely overwhelmed, which is why we have programs in place to try and assist students with that transition. But students may struggle with various things that we also have to address, like academic literacies. You have brilliant minds, but you may not know exactly what a lecturer is asking for when they say, critically describe the following. You know, those types of phrases. So it's important for our lecturers to make sure and convey that you do understand what that means, right? Otherwise, we're not doing our jobs properly as academics. We also know things like the various effects and domino effects of the pandemic, COVID-19. Back in 2020, how old were you? Anybody shout it out. How old were you? 16. 14? 14. Francie, we're old. We're old. It's as simple as that. Okay, so that's a very transitional point in your life as teenagers, right? 14 and 16. That must have been really overwhelming as something, it was overwhelming for the whole world. But we're still feeling the domino effect of different types of schooling and approaches to schooling back then, and students, how they expect or approach things now at university. So we have to take into account various types of environmental contexts that influence the type of supports we offer. This morning, some of us that I recall in this room were also at a book launch on level 5 about resilience in higher education, the South African experience. And that book, I'm so happy to say I'm a co-editor on, is really talking about how we help our students and staff bounce back. Because we know, we're not naive. We know that there's stuff that goes on we can't control. And we know there's stuff that goes on that we need to try and invest our minds and hearts and energy to. And there's no easy answer sometimes. But if we bounce back and we always try and find ways forward, nothing can ever defeat us. It's as simple as that. Just say yes. Okay, so another challenge, obviously, is digital divides that still exist and access to technology. UJ has really come a long way and actually defines itself as a university that is all about promoting technology use. Things like digital literacy is very much part of those types of courses we offer. The fourth industrial revolution, but this time with an impact on society. How do we use technology to actually improve other people's lives? For many students, the so-called digital revolution is not a revolution at all. It's just another barrier. If you don't have access to a device, how are you going to properly complete your assessments? So we're very aware of these things. We have to keep moving forward to try and make sure we're producing the types of students that are ready for the future fit world of work, when some students may not necessarily have enough electricity to, charge their smartphone if they have a smartphone or their device. These are typical problems and challenges that we continuously have to face and try and resolve. Mental health and well-being. Back in 1999, when I was a first-year student, mental health was not a problem. It was never talked about. You must just deal with it. Get on, make do. Don't moan, don't complain. But more and more we see in the last 25 years or so, this emerging global trend around the significance and importance of recognizing mental health. It's a real thing. We can't continue to ignore it. Now, we have one of the best psych departments in the country compared to other universities that really tries their best to accommodate the students despite being under-resourced in many ways. And this is a vital, vital thing. You should not consider this a stigma. You should consider using psych or at least trying to get some kind of help if you're feeling depressed or stressed or worse than that. At least reach out and don't feel like it's something bad, something that you shouldn't be feeling, etc. It's a real thing. And resilience is a part of that. It's an endless resource resilience. But also, there are limits to it. Students should not have to be endlessly strong to make it through university. It's a ridiculous sentiment to suggest that you must just keep it all together and from day one, work hard, face all your challenges head on, expect nothing from anybody, just go for it, work hard, and you'll exit on time with a qualification, and then tomorrow you'll find work. Like that. You'll be a member of the workforce, you'll have a car, a house lined up, etc., because we know that's not the case. The reality is employability is stark in this country. It's a very harsh environment. You're lucky in this room being the top performing students. It means you have a gigantic heads up on other students. You're more advanced than other students in terms of the potential you have towards opportunities and other environments through these types of networks. You're way ahead of others because you're top performing students, but also because you have opportunities to meet the real world, business, the actual industries. So it's important, these networking opportunities. Belonging, inclusion, and identity is another one. It's very challenging to feel like you're belonging in any space because universities can feel very alienating, especially for first-generation students. Is anybody in this room a first-generation university student in your family? It's still very much a thing. So you're carrying the torch for your whole family. That's a lot on your shoulders. You can't fail. So that's tremendous pressure. But it's also such an important thing when you walk across the stage for the first time. I think I've walked across the stage quite a few times now in my academic career with different qualifications and degrees. But I never get over that feeling of excitement when I see one of my students walking across the stage. And now I'm the one sitting there on stage as part of the staff, looking at my people walk across the stage. And that feeling is still there. That butterfly feeling when you think, what an amazing achievement. It's a big, big deal. How far away are some of you from graduating? So are you in your final years, some of you? I know some law students were, that I was talking to earlier. You're in your final year. So you'll be walking the stage in March next year or April. That's around the corner. That's nearly here. It's going to be so, so important, and it's a magical, magical feeling. Not to give anything away, but it's wonderful. You'll love it. So all of you must walk across the stage. Don't drop out, okay? There are other things that are alienating about the university. There might be the language barrier. Most of our classes are in English, and English may not be your first language. That's a barrier. It means you have to get over that before you can actually start absorbing the content. It's a limitation. Now, our Department of African Languages in the Faculty of Humanities is trying to increase the amount of content that's offered in different African languages so that students feel more included, but it's slow. And it's not the current circumstance. It's rare. We have tutorials that are trying to pick up using African languages in their own spaces so that students can understand content better, and that's another way forward. That's progress. We also have students from other marginalized groups that often experience subtle and overt forms of exclusion. And so belonging is a difficult thing because it's more than just getting a campus card so you can access physical spaces. You actually have to feel like you're a UJ student and that UJ is your place. Has anybody been to a UJ social event, like a sporting event yet? All right, so you know UJ all the way. I'm not going to make you do it. But I think it always motivates me. Did anybody join the fun run on Saturday, last Saturday? You were there. Okay, how did you finish? Did you do the 10K? Me too, the 5K. But still, well done to us. We did the 5K. All right, so did you do the 10K? Oh, I knew it. Okay, so, and this time we actually got our timing clock. Did you get yours? So that was quite fun, but you can feel the feeling. That's why I love UJ so much. I feel like it's a home for me and the people here are my family. And so it's not really a chore to come to work every day because I love it. That's a nice place to be in a job, to actually love the job you do. It's also a rare thing, but I'm grateful for it every day. There's also the challenge of purpose as a result then. So students might ask, why am I here? And what will this degree mean for my future? So if you ask yourself right now, why am I here? Because you couldn't get into another university? Good answer. Very good answer. You're here because you want to get a qualification? Because your parents told you better get a qualification? Why are you here? Can I ask you? That's a perfect answer. Okay, that's a perfect answer. To be what you've always dreamed to be and to build yourself as a person. And you did that touching your heart. Did you know that? So that's sincere. That's really wonderful to see. So well done. I would give you 105% if I was marking you right now. Okay, somebody else who's very brave. Why are you here? You can shout it out. Yes.
I am here because I'm trying to find environment like that. Because every child has born in township society. It was difficult for me to really determine what I said. Why was I really my whole thing? So doing many coaches allowed me to find my strengths and my abilities and be able to choose. I think everybody can hear me.
Even better. Just say yes. Okay, go for it.
Yeah, I think being at UJ helps me understand myself even much more better because I get an opportunity to meet people who are, what can I say, who are more forward in life than me, or who have more knowledge than I am. Hence, I will be able to learn some things from them, rather than the place that I come from, most of people are illiterate and uneducated. Hence, I was unable to get information on what should I do in order to succeed in life. So being here allowed me to interact with people whom have the knowledge and the tools that I need in order to get to where I want to be in life. Thank you.
That is amazing. Yeah, okay, snaps to you. That is amazing. And I really think you need to be on UJFM. Your voice. Have you thought about it? Go introduce yourself to UJFM and say you're interested to be on the radio. I suggest you go that route. I'm just suggesting. Don't say no. Okay, one more person quickly. What's your purpose? Why are you here? No, oh, good. Thank you.
Behind.
Okay, you can wait for the mic this time. It's just there.
Well, my purpose was always to become a teacher, which is why I'm here at UJ, which is the best university in South Africa.
Yes.
Yeah, but I've found a new purpose, which is writing. I never thought I'd come to a stage whereby I have a dream of writing my own book, which I'm in the journey right now. If it wasn't of coming to these events, I wouldn't have had that interest. Like I was inspired by Mr. Molinkosi, who once came here and he talked about this book. So I was like, even myself, like I can write something that can actually inspire someone. It's like a blueprint. It's like a testimony to my life. Yeah.
You can do it. You can do it. That is so amazing to hear. And I bet you one of these days, sometime soon, you'll be sitting here on a Friday afternoon with the VC, doing the high tea, talking about your book that's just come out. I would love to see that. So the first time I actually published a book was a conversion of my PhD. The feeling was absolutely amazing to actually see your name attached to something like that. I mean, nobody's going to read it, but still, the fact is I have one, and it's in my bookshelf, talking about South Africa's voting behavior at the UN, something I was very passionate about for my PhD. So by the time you get your PhD, you can always think about converting that into a book. But independently of that, if you just talk about your own personal experience, there was another student of mine in politics who wrote about his whole experience during Fees Must Fall, produced a book. He also produced a play that was linked to it and is doing fabulously well. He's amazing. So you can absolutely do it. And I look forward to reading whatever you write. Okay, so I think the key thing is when students don't know what they're doing, and maybe I can ask for a show of hands around if you just still don't know why you're here, which is also perfectly fine to admit. Who's brave enough to say they just don't know why yet? They're just going with the flow. I went with the flow. I also didn't know. So good for you, because you're doing something. You're being active. You're doing something. You're not sitting at home doing nothing and not thinking about what you might be able to do. You're just trying to test the waters. That's also a big deal. So congratulations to you for that. We all need clarity, direction, relevance, but most importantly, we all need some kind of hope. There are so many negative things around you on a daily basis. You know, apart from the world, what's going on in the world, there's also negative people. You know, bullying and harassment on social media, all kinds of stuff that can affect you emotionally. So you have to be strong in yourself and know, even if you don't know what you're doing and your purpose yet, you will find the path, you will find a way. Just be open to it. Don't close your mind down, just be open to it, because you never know what the universe is going to provide. I was going to say, you never know what the university is going to provide. But actually, I meant to say the universe, but in effect, both works. You never know what the university can provide for you in the form of opportunities, events, networking sessions, meeting people, signing up for things, being motivated by the UJ choir, by one performance, going online on UJ Digital, studying something there, making friends in the chat room, hooking up, finding a job that way. You just don't know. So just be open to it, because that's so important. And what I found in my whole career, absolutely essential. Be open to it and always work hard. And that's got me where I am today. And I really feel privileged and grateful for that. So I think the key thing really is stay motivated when you're feeling demotivated. Reach out to a friend or somebody you trust to help keep you on the right path. And secondly, believe in yourself. It's again a very corny thing to say, but if everybody else in the world disappeared tonight and you're left alone, you'd have to believe in yourself, right? So why don't you do it now anyway? Believe in yourself and your own abilities and really just do your very, very best. So if you were to think for yourself, 2 key things that define you and help you every day, being kind is one of them for me. What is one of them for you? Being grateful is a second thing for me. What's a second thing for you? Try and think about that and enjoy the free food you're going to be getting just now. Thank you so much for your attention, everybody.
Oh, Prof. Susie, if you just want to stay, let's just hear. Are there perhaps any questions? Let's start with our online attendees. Can you say, is there perhaps any question there? No question. Okay, they listened very well. Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Susie. But let's just hear, and it was very interactive, and some of you raised your opinions, and we've learned about some dreams, which will be fulfilled in due course. So are there, I think we can allow for another few questions. Is there perhaps any other question? Do you have a mic there, or must I bring this one? Okay, I'll walk around. Here you are. If you want to speak in the mic.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I appreciate it. Prof. Suzanne, it's always a privilege to hear from you. But as you pretty much know me, my question is, how many students living with disabilities are here?
So that's something that Prof. Maria would have to let me know. So in Kululeko, some students don't disclose disabilities. So we don't have an absolute number. And so that's a key thing. And thank you for bringing this up. Actually, if you don't know Kululeko, he's an advocate for disabled students here at UJ. So it's basically one of the things he does on a daily basis is to try and ensure disability students get access and don't feel excluded in many ways. So it also depends on the type of disability and how you, but we do have disability students here at UJ. The problem is that some students are so scared to actually, when they first apply to the UJ environment, actually state what their disability is, but they never declare it. Now, there are different types. So it could be dyslexia, for example, or something like an academic learning disability, or it could be something more severe. That's a physical disability. But there are people at UJ to support disabled students and environments to assist disabled students. So if this is something that is very close to your heart, like it is within Kululeko, then you need to speak up at the disability forums that we have at UJ. In Kululeko, how many forums a year? 2 or 1?
Only one.
1. So that's something we need to maybe have once a quarter rather. But anyway, these forums are important because students with disabilities have a voice there. So if you're one of them, make sure you're present.
Thank you, Prof. Susie. Right, one last burning question for someone. There is one student. I'll bring you the mic. Your voice will carry further.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Professor Susie Graham. Nice to meet you again. My question for you is, you spoke about not knowing what you want to do or your purpose, rather. I'd like to ask, when is it the right time to know what you actually want to do, or rather why you're here? Thank you.
That's such an important question. I think it's different for everybody. You know, when you know you're doing the right thing is when you feel good about it. When your brain and your gut are actually aligned, then you know it's the right thing. If your brain says, my dad says I must study law because I'll make money, let me study law. I hate this. It makes me feel sick when I'm studying for it. Then you know you're not doing the right thing. So you got to align your brain and your gut. When you're feeling good and motivated and excited about something, then you know you're doing the right thing. Now, as I said, from my experience, I kind of fell into it. So I just knew I was enjoying myself, and then stuff happened without any real proactive nature on my part. But maybe my being proactive was just working hard and loving what I did, and then the results came. So sometimes, in my case, I wasn't necessarily proactive, but stuff happened. In other cases, people have been intentional and stuff happens. So it might vary from person to person. I think definitely the key thing is for me, if you're feeling good, if you're feeling excited about what you're learning, then you know you're doing the right thing. If you're constantly dragging your feet or don't even go to class at all, or are dreading the next assignment, and this doesn't have anything to do with the lecturers, by the way, because you can have terrible lecturers, even if they don't mean to be, but still love the content. So it's about what you find passionate, what you find yourself being passionate about, rather, is what I should say. What do you enjoy doing? Now, you may not like everything. You know, in our modules, in our qualifications, you have a whole array of modules, and some of them you might not like, and some of them you might like. And it might just be the luck of the draw based on the setup of the qualification itself. You don't have a choice. You have to take this or that, you know, to get the qualification. And it's perfectly fine to not really enjoy one or the other. But the point is that ultimately, do you enjoy 95% of your time studying what you're studying? And if you do, then you're doing the right thing. And then what you'll find is suddenly opportunities will come to your doorstep. So there might be a book launch where you meet somebody, or there might be some kind of seminar where you're learning something new, Or there might be some kind of display where somebody's showing a new nursing approach or something like that. And you're starting to think, oh, I actually feel like I'm going to do a postgrad qualification, where I take that specific niche area a little bit further, because that's what I'm starting to feel real interest in. The other thing is, and I know you're going to moan about this, but reading is actually quite important. You know, the more you read about something, the more you learn about something, the more you'll know if you like it or not, because it opens up your mind and expands your sense of awareness around what's possible. So read as much as you can. You don't have to do it in depth. You can skim read, get to the good parts. All right, skim read and see if this takes your fancy. Are you thrilled by this thing? Can I ask you what you're studying? Sorry, I didn't hear.
I'm studying BCom Finance.
BCom Finance.
Yes.
Okay, so that would scare me because I'm not a numbers person. But clearly, if you love numbers, then it's your thing. So run with it and be happy. There we go. Run with it and be happy. I think that's how I'll end your question.
Right, thank you very much, Prof. Susie. I'm sure there might be more questions, but you are always welcome to write an email. We also have a help desk, uhelp@uj.ac.za. And if you have got any queries or further support you need, you are welcome to do that. So, Prof. Susie, we're going to thank you now. Thank you very much for your time. And I'm going to ask Monwa just to hand over something small from UJenius to say thank you to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You see, I said yes to this, and now I get a gift.
Thank you very much, Prof. Susie.
Thank you.
I say thank you very much. We know you might be speed wobbling off to something next. So thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate it. Okay, all the best. Right. So thank you. So that was great and very inspiring. And I'm sure you discovered something new about yourself. Right now, we are going over to the second part of our session. Phelisa, we are so grateful to have you here. And I see another colleague there from Standard Bank. Very, very welcome once again. So let me just introduce you to Phelisa. Phelisa Siboyana. Very welcome. She is a national manager of the Young Professional Acquisitions. So she's looking around, people. She is looking around of Standard Bank, South Africa. So Phelisa graduated BCom Accounting, that student who said he's doing numbers. Guess from what university? Yes. Right. So from UJ, and then she furthered the studies via business school by completing a postgraduate diploma in business administration. Right, Phelisa is a seasoned financial services provider, and she's currently serving, as we said, as the national manager of young professionals. And that is what you are in the making and will very soon be. Right. And they are headquartered, Standard Bank in Johannesburg. Right. Phelisa has over a decade of experience in the banking sector. She has built up a strong track record in various areas. Private banking, very important, wealth management, to manage what you have, and then also client acquisition, always looking for new talent. Right. Right, she currently leads a team of bankers who acquire the young professionals from all walks of life. So it doesn't matter what you're studying, in what faculty you are, there might be a place for you. Before joining Standard Bank in 2021, she also held several key roles at the Investec Group. And that includes private banker, relationship banker, and high net worth private banker. She also worked in First National Bank as a private wealth banker, where she further expanded her experience in managing the affluent client portfolios and delivering tailored financial solutions. Yeah, and I think that is a very important skill, to tailor something for a specific client. Well, she wears many hats, as you might have gathered from what we said. She's a business owner, a mentor, an inspirational speaker, and also an all-rounder leader. She's passionate about financial inclusion and youth empowerment. And why is she such a valuable asset in South Africa's financial landscape? It's because of her leadership, her client-centric approach, and commitment to social impact. Right, and she is about empowerment, financial emancipation, and uplifting others. Wow, that sounds very great. So, Phelisa, she's just getting ready there. You're welcome. Please do so. Very welcome, and we're looking forward to what you have to share. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Is it afternoon already? We're just having some technical issues at the back, but I think we can get started. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, the top 1% of UJ. Can you guys give yourselves a round of applause? So I was watching a TikTok the other day. You know, when you want to sound smart, you say, I was reading the other day. These days, I was watching a TikTok. And the TikTok was talking about the top universities in the country and the percentage rate to get into them, right? And UJ was on that list, of course. And they said it is every 3 in 100 people that apply get into UJ. So imagine 100 people applying and they only accept 3. Of that 3, now there's 50,000 of them that have been accepted through first year right across. Of the whole 50,000 of those students, they take the top genius students. They call them the UJenius, the crop above the best, right? So you guys are that. Geniuses in the making. Give yourselves a round of applause for that. So I was also at UJ many, many moons ago. Believe me, I was not in this room. Okay, I was at the SS Student Center having chips and Coke and bread. I was not part of this group, right? But thank God he saw me through and brought me to where I am today. So I am delighted to be standing in front of you guys at a university that is my alma mater, university that I love so, so much because it shaped a lot of who I am today, right? As introduced, I am a national manager of acquisitions at Standard Bank Young Professionals, right? I work for the biggest bank in Africa. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I can like that one, right? And at Standard Bank, our motto reads, Africa is our home and we drive her growth, right? And there's nothing more important for us than being able to stand in rooms where we're able to speak to the future of Africa. You guys are our future. You guys determine where the world is going. You guys, through your decisions, through the skills that you're going to learn at UJ, are going to impact our world, right? And it's so important for us to be able to come and sow into you before you step out into the world, right? So I'm from Young Professionals. So what we do, we travel all around the country from the most northern university, University of Venda, right up to Cape Town. We go to all the universities, we go to all of the firms, we affiliated with SAICA, with SAIPA, with the Law Society, with the Medical Society, with every organization where professionals are that you can think of. We have a hand in that because we are so deeply invested in ensuring that young professionals around the country have the money management skills that they need to make sure that money works for them, right? So I'll ask you a very quick question. Is money working for you or are you currently working for money? Working for money, right? That next first paycheck when it comes through, who's on the 350 paycheck? I've got now, some of my nieces are on the 350 paycheck, very naughty because they don't need it. Who's on the 350 paycheck? Who's on the next first paycheck? Next first, okay. Who's on a bursary? Who's on their parents' paycheck? Who's on their blesser's paycheck? Don't put up your hands, okay? Right, so guys, the whole reason why I'm here is to give you guys some tips and tricks around making money work for you, right? When I was in UJ, nobody, and I mean nobody taught me about this. So as soon as I left, I got my first job at Investec. I got into so much debt because I moved from, I used to get like 1.5 when I was in university. 1.5 to, let's say, 15,000. And I had no understanding of how to manage that, right? So everyone who would call me to say, you qualify for this, you qualify for that, I was there signing. I'm not reading anything, just put it on the plastic top of a girl. You know what I mean? And trust me, I paid for it. So I'm here to make sure you guys don't make the same mistakes. If my presentation comes up, are we winning with the presentation? Oh. Anyway, let's get into it. Guys, do you think there's a correlation between psychology and money? What's the connection? Yes, sir. Okay. Very good. I like that. Yes, ma'am. 100%. 100%. So what we see, what we observe our parents do, our community, what happens on payday, we translate, right? Absolutely, guys. There's a correlation between emotions, between our psychology and how we use money, right? And that's where the psychology of money comes in. And that's to say, like the gentleman has said, your mindset. It's so important that at this age where you are, where we're calling you a young professional, and you don't even see yourself as a professional because I mean, you're still in school, but you actually are a young professional. And how you start to shape and monitor your thoughts around money will determine how you use it, right? So there's two schools of thought in psychology. There's the abundance mindset and there's the scarcity mindset. When you grow up in an environment where money is scarce, right? It's few, you know, I don't have McDonald's money. You know, your mom says that, and you want this, and your mom says, I don't have that kind of money. Do you think money grows on trees? You know, all those things that we grow up hearing our parents say, they give us a mentality about money that it's a scarce resource. So if I have it, I must hold on to it. I mustn't save, I mustn't invest, I mustn't, you know that. Or on the other end of the spectrum, it's the abundance mindset where you want to spend. The moment you get money, you don't even care what's happening tomorrow. You're spending it, right? Because that's what the abundance mindset says. So we need to get into the equilibrium where we're in the middle of these two things, where we're able to save cautiously and also spend wisely, right? Where we're in the middle, because money is currency. Have you heard of ZAR, USD, UAD, all these things? They're called currency because they need to flow and move in order for them to work for you, right? So you need to be saving on one hand and also investing on the other hand. That's how money management works, right? So let's talk about financial freedom, ladies and gents. And I'm going to give you guys a practical example because I know that you guys study through understanding practically, okay? So let me give you an example of two people. Whose names are we going to use? Give me a name. Josh and Phelisa and Sizwe. Okay. Sizwe, what are you studying? Education. Okay, so you're going to be a teacher and you're going to be earning about what, 24,000? Plus minus. So 24,000, and you married to? Who's the lady next to you? What's your name? Sibonga. That's such a beautiful name. And what are you studying? Oh, teachers. You guys are both teachers. 24,000. Joint income. How much is the joint income in this family? Someone saying 24,000. I'm only counting his money. Ladies. Okay. 48,000, right? That's the family. Spusiso, what are you studying? I didn't see Spusiso. Where is he? Yes. What are you studying? LLB. Law. Ooh, you can have a lot of money. Okay, so let's say you are earning 30,000, just to make it a plain example. Who's the lady next to you? What are you studying, Tabiso? You're gonna have even more money. Okay, let's just say 30,000. So what's their joint income? So it's 60 and 48, right? So the 60,000, they stay in Sandton. Their kids go to the Saints schools. When they go on holiday, they go overseas. They go to Disneyland with their 60,000. They drive a BMW and a Porsche. They're that family, right? So their joint income is 60,000 Rand. But their expenses and their monthly living situation adds up to 90,000 Rand, or in fact, 100,000 Rand a month. This is a true story. There they are, look at them. Then we've got Spangagonke and Sizwe over here, 48,000 income. They stay somewhere in Malvo, you know. Their kids go to school around the corner. They're okay. They go to holiday at Gogo's house, Soweto, or Durban if they're really lucky. They have a joint income of 48,000. Their expenses and everything that happens in their life, when you round it up together, is 30,000 Rand. Okay? 30,000. So if you look at these two families, these two households, who is rich? Who is rich? Who? Oh, I forgot I'm dealing with UJenius students. No, but guys, let's talk about it on the Instagram live. When you're looking at this from the social media lens, the lifestyle lens, who is living the life? Them, right? But they are actually living in debt. You guys don't know, but I know because I approve their loans every single month. They are living in debt. If anything happens in their family, they've got a tire puncture, a geyser burst, whatever happens, they have to come to the banks to get more money from debt. These two, on the other hand, have surplus, right? They've got a little bit of a balance between what they earn and what they spend. So if there's an emergency on their end, they don't need debt in order to live. They're okay. So if you look at these two examples, they are the prime example of what financial freedom looks like. Does that clock in? Financial freedom, ladies and gentlemen, is not about the amount that you earn. It's not about the salary that you have. It's not even about the lifestyle that you live. It is, my dear friends, your mindset about money, right? And if we're going to do anything right as a generation, we need to be a generation that is financially free in our minds first. Social media is not a real place. Don't look at people on LinkedIn and social media making you feel like you're left behind. It's not a real place. You need to determine what financial freedom looks like for you so that you can make sure that you live towards that, right? So that we don't make the same mistakes our parents made. You know how many of our parents would have such a better life if they didn't commit themselves to unnecessary debt, right? If they didn't commit themselves to all these things that actually caused them to not have money when they thought they were going to have money, right? So let's dispel the myth of looking rich and actually being rich. Okay, so look at the person sitting next to you and say, neighbor, when you start working, don't try to look rich. Be rich. Thank you. Right? So guys, settle down. So if we're gonna stop looking rich and actually being rich, we need to understand the fundamentals of money management, right? And one such is called budgeting. It sounds like such a menial thing, such a silly primary school thing. Okay, perfect. Finally, our tech people are coming on board. Okay, cool, guys. So they're gonna put it up so you guys can be able to see. So if we're gonna manage our money properly, there's a few fundamental basics that we need to master, right? One such is the B word, budgeting. Now, people always think of budgeting as just like such a lame thing. I'm too cool to budget. There was that song by Nicki Minaj that says something about who looks at the price tag. Do you guys remember that song? Or was it before your time? Am I exposing my age? But so it was just about like when you go shopping because she's got so much money, she hasn't looked at the price tag. Guys, look at the price tag, please. Like that's not a thing. Look at the price tag. So anyway, budgeting. How many of us in the room are using a budget? How many of us are budgeting? How, UJenius students? And the rest of us who are not budgeting? What are we doing? YOLO. It's in your mind. Okay. Quick question. Everybody who said that they are budgeting, please put up your hands again. The ones that said they are budgeting on a monthly basis. Let's see your hands. Cool. Keep them up like that. Keep them up. How many of you are going back at the end of the month to reconcile what you planned to use versus what you actually used? How many of us are going back to reconcile? The slides are not moving. Are they going to come up? Okay, you can put your hands down. So there were fewer people who said that they go back to reconcile. So can I tell you the honest truth, guys? The people that say that they are budgeting, but don't go back to reconcile what they used versus what they actually used and what they plan to use are not budgeting, they wish listing. Okay. You just let us know. Guess I'll tell you. Please go to the next slide. Next slide. I had a video planned for you guys, but next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Okay, I'll go back, don't worry. Next slide. Yes, here we are. Okay, guys, can you all see the screen? Okay, so all of the people that put their hands up initially to say that they are budgeting, but didn't put their hands up to reconcile, they're not budgeting, they're wish listing, right? And that's when you have it all in your head. Now, I know what I'm going to do with the money. You don't know what you're going to do with your money. And that's why you are surprised at the end of the month to say, but where did my money go? Because you didn't budget. You are wish listing, right? Guys, in order for you to call it a budget, it's something that you need to, first of all, write down. It can't be in your head. You must actually physically write it down. You must have your money in. This is the money from your mother, your father, your bursary, your blesser, wherever it's coming from, money in, right? And then that money, you can't really do much to change it. It is what it is, right? It's the money you get it. Then you've got something called expenses, which makes up the body of the budget. Your expenses are going to be made up of fixed expenses, things that you cannot run away from, and your variable stuff, things that are going to change every month that you might be able to, get away from. And at the end, you either have a surplus or a deficit. Now, if your income exceeds your expenses, so you've got more money than you have costs, you've got a surplus. You are good. You are this couple. If your income is less than your expenses are so much, you're going to be in a place called deficit. That's where that couple is, right? So you need to be able to manage your expenses because your expenses are in your hands. Even when you're working next year or whenever you're going to be working, you can't tell your employer, actually, I need more money because I need to do my this, that, and the other. It doesn't work that way in the real world. What is in your ambit of control, however, is your expenses. And that's why it's so important that you're able to define the budget that works for you, understanding your own needs and your own wants. Now, speaking of needs and wants, let's go through what needs and wants are. Can I have a definition and an example, please, of what is a need and what is a want? Yes, sir. Oh, this sir is on it today. Okay. Okay, can I have an example from another person? Very good definition. An example, please. Yes, sir. An example of a want? An iPhone. Okay, good examples. Okay, now let me run you guys through some examples on my end. Is food a need? Is McDonald's a need? Is water a need? Is Savannah dry a need? Okay, is clothing a need? Is Adidas a need? Okay, so some of you get it, some of you don't, but it's okay, right? Guys, you need to be able to confirm this for yourself. You see how we are all differing in our views. I might have a need that you think is a want, and the same for your friend and the same for the other person. When you start working, you need to be able for yourself to determine what are your needs, what are your wants, what is important for you, what can you live without, what can you not live without. Do not compare yourself to your friends. right? Because you don't know what they're going through and what's happening in their lives. It's the same when you get into the world of work. Have you guys heard of adult peer pressure? It's so real. Trust me, you're gonna get into depth that you don't need. You're gonna get into relationships that you shouldn't be in just because of peer pressure. Guys, when it comes to your money, you must have your own plan, right? Because if you don't have a plan for your money, let me tell you, everybody else will have a plan for your money. The banks will be calling you left, right, and center. You qualify for this, you qualify for that. They're giving you a plan for your money because you don't have a plan. Your mom will have a plan. Oh, and we need new roof, we need new tiles. Your girlfriend, your boyfriend will have a plan for your money. Everyone will have a plan because you don't have a plan, right? So don't be that person that doesn't have a plan for their money. Make sure that you have this plan, okay? So in order for you to be able to really have a good budget that works for you, you need to live within the 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule says if you're earning 10,000 Rand, tell yourself from day one that I'm only living in the 80%. So I'm only living on 8,000 Rand per month. The 20,000 is exactly what this couple is doing. They're going to leave it for a rainy day, for an emergency fund, for savings, for traveling, whatever they need to do, right? That's how you start off not getting into debt. But if you're living in the 100% and even higher than 100%, you will live in this perpetual wheel of debt which you can't get out of. So guys, it's very important that from day one, make it a point that you're using a budget, that you're sticking to it, and most importantly, that the budget is working for you, right? So I've got some pay slips for you. Please go to the next slide. Then I wanted to show you. Tech guys. Is it coming? Oh, you've gone too much. Go again. Yes. Can you zoom it in, please?
I'm unable to.
They say they can't zoom in.
Okay, all right. Anyway, guys, I have a pay slip for you. Can you see the screen? Okay, well, anyway, I wanted to bring you this pay slip just for illustrative purposes to show you what it looks like in the world of work. This is a graduate civil engineer. They are earning a basic salary of 28,000. Is that good money or bad money? Bad money. Okay. Okay, listen, guys. He's earning 28,000 Rand. And he's got deductions. Do you guys know about deductions? You know about payee and UIF. So you're comfortable with that, right? His net salary a month is 26,211 Rand. That's his salary as a graduate civil engineer. So that's how much money you can be expecting to make. So when you are doing a budget, you don't base your budget on the gross amount, which is 28,000, because you're never going to see that. You base it on the net amount that's what's going to go into your account, which is the 26,000. Okay, so that's one salary. You guys say that's bad money. Wait until you see the next one. Next slide, please. Next slide. There we go. Now this is a salary slip of an electrical engineer. Guys, these are real stories. I didn't make this up. I just hid their name so you guys don't call them. How much is he earning? What are you saying? 14,000? 8,000 Rand. 8,000 as an electrical engineer. After maybe 5 years of school, he's got student loans, he's got transport costs, got rent. He's only earning 8K. Settle down, settle down. So what do you do with only 8,000 Rand? He still has to pay tax. He still has to pay UIF. He still has all these other costs. The only money that sees his bank is 7,900. Imagine. So now if you look at this person's pay slip, he's working with the other guys earning 28,000. Are their needs and wants going to be the same? Completely different. That's why I said to you, when you are doing your pay slip and you are doing your budget, make sure that it's aligned to what you need, not what your friend is talking about for you, because you don't know what they're earning. Next slide, please. Come in. Now, this is a nice one. I wish you could be able to see this one. Can anyone see how much this person is earning? They're working at Transnet. They are earning, my dear friends, 55,134. This is just around about 26, 27 age mark, right? Is this good money or bad money? Good money. Now, look at his income though. Settle down. So in order for him to get this 55,000, he's got a basic pay of 40,000. He's got housing allowance. He's got overtime. He's working on Sunday. He's working on public holiday. Guys, I'm reading what I'm seeing here. Public holiday, night shift allowance. He's working his fingers to the bone just to get this 55,000, right? And then after all of his expenses are gone, what goes into his account? Guess how much? 38,650 cents. So he's lost to tax and deductions 16,000 rand. Guys, the reason why I'm showing you these is because I want you to see the reality of the world of work. You might sign an employment contract and you think you're about to be so rich, you're about to be Ramaphosa, but you're not. Do you know what I mean? This is the reality of the world of work. If you want to move from that 8,000 pay slip to this 55,000 pay slip, it's going to take time, firstly. It's not going to happen overnight. But most importantly, it's going to take a lot of hard work. This is the world that is awaiting you next year. And the people that are going to be able to manage and move from 8,000 to 28,000 to 55,000 are the people that are able to manage their money correctly, right? And understand exactly what's happening with their money. So next slide, please. So this is where we get to talking about the monetary policy and how it works for me. Have you guys ever heard that conversation about the MPC, the Monetary Policy Committee meeting to say interest rates are going up or down? Have you heard of that in the news? Do you know what that means? Nobody knows. Okay, so the monetary policy determines the interest rates of the country, right? There's a rate called repo, there's a rate called prime. So I will explain it this way. The repo rate is the rate at which the South African Reserve Bank gives us as banks money to lend to you guys. So they're like our mother. So mommy gives us on a rate called repo. We lend to you guys on a rate called prime, right? So that is the minimum rate that you're going to pay for anything that is interest linked. So that's a credit card, a personal loan, a vehicle finance, home finance, whatever that you're going to get where there's interest involved, there's a rate called prime that you must understand. It's the minimum rate, right? It's currently sitting at 10.75. Okay, so the monetary policy controls this interest rate. So when it goes up, you will pay more. When it goes down, you will pay less. And they control it to obviously manage inflation, etc., etc. This is very important because if you leave university and you go you go to a first dealership and they want to offer you a car, you're so excited to just sign. That's what I did. When I left UJ, I bought a car with the bank that offered me 18%. I didn't even know what they made. I just signed. I just wanted the car, right? 18%. That was prime plus 10. Sorry, prime plus 8%. Exorbitantly high. And if you're an accounting student, you know, the higher your interest, the higher your installment. So I was obviously like bleeding going through it because I didn't understand interest. That's why you guys need to make more informed decisions. Before you sign a contract, before you sign a credit card, don't just go to Viva, these gyms and Rage Store accounts, just signing everywhere. Guys, understand what you are doing, okay? Because that's how you get caught out. Next slide, please. So if you're going to manage your finances, you've done your budgeting, there's also another very important concept that you need to know, and that is managing debt, the D word. How many of you guys are already in debt? And I know, no, don't laugh. I know some of you are already going through it. You signed up for Rage accounts, telecom accounts, because somebody told you that you need debt in order to get debt, right? Someone said to you, go open a store account so you can build a credit score, and now you can't manage it till you're in debt. I know that happened to me too. I went to a red bank. I will name and shame them. They offered me a personal loan of 20,000 rand. I didn't need it. I didn't have anything important to buy with it. My sister and I blew that money, right? And I paid for it with my soul. So guys, be careful, right? Just because you qualify for debt, it doesn't mean you can afford it. Now look at the person next to you and say, neighbor, this is where you shrug them. And say, just because you qualify for something, it doesn't mean you afford it. Do you know how many repossessed cars there are? Repossessed houses. People are blacklisted. Why? Because they qualified for stuff initially that they actually couldn't afford, right? So guys, don't let that be you, please, right? So the stats say that 1 in 2 South Africans are living in debt. 1 in 2. Shh. So 1 in 2 working class people are just getting paid to pay debt. Then they wait for the next month. Getting paid to pay debt. Does that sound like someone you know in your family? Sounds familiar, right? So in order for you guys to mitigate against that, you need a coach. You need a banking partner with banking solutions that will help you manage and understand what's secured debt, what's unsecured debt. If you're studying teaching, you won't know this as much as BCom finance people will know it, or accounting students will know it, because that's all we study. But for you other guys who are not in the commerce world, these are different concepts to you, right? So what's secured debt, what's unsecured? How do you take on new debt? How do you understand and manage black tax? That's a very, very important thing. How do you understand your credit score? How do you not make emotional buys, but actually make logical buys? Next slide, please. Right? So these are the concepts that your coach in the form of your private banker is able to actually unpack and assist you with. Right? So this is why we're here, guys, to make sure that you guys have an understanding of this. Can you see this picture? This is a picture of your credit health. So you know when somebody sends you a friend request on Facebook, and you first go to their page and you see, does this person go out? Do they go to taverns? Are they like a Lani person? Are they ghetto? If they're ghetto, you delete the request, right? But if they're coy, you will accept the friend request. It's the same thing with your credit score. When you guys apply to us for a car, a credit card, a personal loan, we check your credit history. That will tell us if you're good for the money or if you're bad for the money. If your score is between 0 to 650, you're questionable. If you are above 650, you're great. A lot of you guys in this room are at no score or at poor score. So what will your mom say? They'll say, go open a rate account to build your score. Worst advice. Don't listen to your mom, listen to me. They are using obviously the old school way of thinking around money. Guys, you don't need debt that you don't need to get debt, right? Things have changed. It's 2025. Banks like Standard Bank don't request young people to get debt unnecessarily. Next slide, please. Okay, so did you guys know that by virtue of you sitting in a university like the University of Johannesburg, you qualify for private banking at a discounted fee? That's what professional banking is. We're part of private banking, but we come to you guys to give you the best interest rates that you can find in the market. For example, those of you wanting to study further, right? You're interested in furthering your studies, you want a student loan, you want to pay your historical debt. We are the only bank in South Africa that will assist you to pay your historic debt without even a surety. You become your own surety, right? It's called the Standard Bank backed loan. What we do there, by virtue of the qualification that you have, we pay for your current fees and your old fees. You don't need a mom or uncle or whoever. You by yourself are able to stand as your surety. This is a game changer in terms of education, because people that don't qualify for NSFAS struggle to get student loans. We help you to get that at the prime lending rate, right? If you want to get a credit card, it's at prime minus 0.25. Remember I said prime is 10.75 and it's the minimum rate. So we'll give it to you at prime minus. If you want a vehicle, prime -1. If you want a home finance, prime minus, preferential loans on interest on personal loans as well. This is important for people who are especially going to work next year. Because if you are going to be relocated to Durban, to Mpumalanga, or even in Joburg, you have to leave res. You have to go pay rent, deposit, get a microwave, get a bed, get this, that, and the other. You actually need funds to do that, right? So we're able to give these funds upfront without 3 months pay slips, bank statements, blah, 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 without a credit score, by virtue of your qualification that you have. And the fact that you studied at UJ, you're able to get these resources, right? And they're able to help you significantly. Next slide, please. And this brings me to this page, which is a very important page. Now, if you are not listening there, I need you to listen very importantly. This is the professional banking solution. I call it a solution because it really is just that. It's there to take care of your transactional banking needs, your lifestyle needs, your lending needs, and your advisory needs. Now, you're probably saying, Phelisa, I don't need all of this. I'm just a student. I'm barely going through my tutorials or passing. Why would I need this? Honey, you're going to need this very soon, right? So I'm here to plant the seed into your mind to let you know that I already see you as the person that you want to be. And I want to give you the solutions that speak to that person. First and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, you see the card in the middle, it's black, right? It's a matte black card. It's written professional at the top. And at the bottom, it's going to have your name. What's your name? You said it's Sizwe. What's your surname? Sizwe Zolo, right? So when it, Zola. Zondo. So when he goes to McDonald's or Pick and Pay there by Campus Square, when he takes out his cards, they understand they're dealing with a professional. I don't know about your vertical shiny black cards, what they're saying. I don't know, right? But this one, my darlings, is black matte. And it's going to cover all of the needs that he's going to have. He might not have the needs right now, but as soon as he starts working, he needs a car to get to school, right? He needs a credit card because he needs extra funds to buy the bed, the fridge that I spoke about, or just to stretch his wallet. He needs a financial advisor who's going to be able to advise him to say, Caesar, no, do this, do that. Caesar, this is how you budget. Caesar, this is how you do life covers, blah, blah, blah. He needs that support, right? He needs to buy his mama house or build his mama house. We've got solutions on how we can do all of that. And once he starts getting some more money, he wants to start investing. We can get him exposed to the London Stock Exchange and the New York Stock Exchange. Never mind the JSE. We're taking him internationally, right? That's where I want you guys to be thinking. Do you understand where I'm going with this? So then we have solutions that cater for all of his needs. And now he wants to travel with baby girl. They are at the airport. Have you guys all traveled somewhere by the airport, by OR Tambo? Some yes, some no. So guys, when you get to the airport, there's this other sexy place called the lounge, right? This is where only the Caesars of the world go. Everyone else, the vertical shiny card, they go to Wimpy. So they're at this very special place. It's the lounge where all the wealthy people meet, and they have champagne and oysters and ribs and pork and lamb chops, and it's absolutely free. It's part of your banking solution. All of the lifestyle benefits that you're going to need, everything is already there catered for you, right? All of the discounts that you want, already there catered for you. Student loans, like I said, everything is already there catered for you. This is the solution called the Young Professional Banking Account, right? Next slide, please. Cool. So once Caesar is working next year, he's got a post at the Department of Education. He's working, his first salary comes into his Young Professional account. We will give him 2,000 Rand just to say, thank you for banking with us, right? 20,000 UCount points, which translates to 2,000 Rand. What he can do with that money, he can either save it, invest it, like I said, or he can go to Tops and blow it. It's his money. We've got our UCount partners, KFC, Macro, Discount, and he can enjoy whatever he wants to use at those places, right? That is the UCount Rewards account. Okay, next slide, please. And guys, that's it. The Young Professional account is absolutely free for you guys as final year students. How many final year students do I have in the room? Okay, cool. How many third year students do I have? Second years? First years? Oh, there's a lot of first years. Okay, so first, second, and third years, this is the account that you're going to only dream about for the next few years. You're going to go to bed dreaming about their professional account. But all of my final year students, this is where I want us to talk. I want us to talk about next year, what it's going to look like, and what kind of a financial partner you're going to need, right? Please, can you scan the QR code in front of you for everyone? So everybody who's in first to third year, you obviously know about MIMO and Varsity Vibes and all of the cool benefits that you get, right? Those who don't know, I'm going to plug you. Don't worry, I got you. So just scan the QR code in front of you, please. It's going to ask you to complete some information. Please do complete that. It's going to ask for your consent. If you consent for us to contact you, if you say yes, we'll contact you. If you say no, we won't contact you, right? For all of the final year students, we're going to take you out to McDonald's or KFC or Pizza Vino. What's also around? That's nice. Mike's Kitchen, wherever you want to go to unpack this further for you guys, right? So we can really, really assist you. Third years, second years, and first years, I'm going to plug you guys on another solution. And when you guys get to final year, you also get the same in terms of the unprofessional account, right? You pay 0 banking fees for this account until you start working. And only when you start working will you start to pay the fees, right? So guys, that is it from me. Are there any questions? Yes, sir.
Do you have a service whereby maybe, let's say I have a business in university, ne? And that account, ne? Can I open an account whereby I just take the money in, like the money I make from the business, I just put in and I don't want it until a certain year I say, now I've gathered enough, I can take it.
Of course. Would you want that account to be in the name of your business or in your personal name?
I think business.
in the name of the business.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we've got business solutions. And our account, actually, the business account starts from R5, right? That cater for all kinds of businesses. Our accounts start from like a zero earning business to hundreds of millions of business. UJ is actually one of our clients. And I must say, UJ makes us a lot of money. So thank you to you guys. So we absolutely do. Yes, sir.
All right, we allow another question.
I wanted to ask, does Standard Bank have a platform whereby they teach you how to invest? They give you a step-by-step program on how to invest. They guide you and they show you this is how you do it.
I'm so glad you asked. We do. It's actually called our online share trading, whereby if you invest 1,000 Rand, right? If you deposit 1,000 Rand, we will match that 1,000 with another 1,000. Now you've got 2,000 to trade. You can buy like shares, JSE shares, MTN, whatever you want to buy. And we teach you how to trade and how to invest, right? That's like on a trading platform. But if you wanted to do like savings, accounts, short-term, long-term savings, Josh is actually one of our private bankers. He's going to come up to the stage and give you guys a few words as well. And he will actually coach you on where to invest, how to invest, et cetera, depending on how much you have and how much you'd like to invest.
Unfortunately, yeah, you also want to give your colleague
Josh, yes,
a minute
you,
also. So
just a
let
minute.
me have a last question. Let me just ask, is there a question online? No. Okay, so I'm sure there are many questions, but here will be a networking session afterwards. We unfortunately have to move out of this venue to go one floor down, because there's another function. Okay, so the last question, is it you who wanted to ask?
There was a lady who was burning there in the background.
Burning
Yeah.
bank.
Burning question. Oh, I'll still be here, don't worry. Guys, did you all scan the QR code?
Does that stop? Okay, good afternoon. I'd like to know about what an endowment is. I heard it's something whereby you can invest and with small money, like that is better like for students. Can you please educate us on that?
That's more Josh's department. So I'll let Mr. Joshi explain that one.
All right, Phelisa,
Josh.
thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right, we've got a thank you gift, but you two will have to share it now.
It's okay.
Okay, but you're welcome. You to have a minute or so.
Thank you. Thank you. So yes, my name is Joshua van der Merwe. I recently joined Standard Bank at the beginning of this year. So just in terms to answer your question first, there's a lot of investment options that are similar to endowments. Wait, can you see me? There we go. So sort of similar investment types are endowments, unit trusts, ETFs. And what this essentially means is it's a lot of small investors pooling their money to make bigger investments, and you earn more sort of interest return on that, so that your piece of the pie grows and grows more exponentially. So especially on that's one of the powers of building wealth. So there's 4 powers, and building wealth is like a tree. And I'll get to why at the end. But the first power is the power of small amounts, right? So everybody thinks that when you start investing, you need hundreds of millions and millions to make your money, but that's just not the case. Even putting in a couple of R100 a month over a span of 20 years makes a real difference. There was a story about a janitor in the US who every year, I believe he invested like $100 per month of his paycheck. By the time he retired and passed away, he was worth over, I think it was like $12 million. And that was just from $100 that he put in every single month. So don't underestimate the power of small amounts. Use what you have now, even if it is just a 50 Rand, a 20 Rand, anything along those lines. Trust me, it does make a difference in the long run. The second is compounding. And I'm sure some of you, especially in some sort of commerce, finance faculty, know about compound interest. Anybody? Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, compound interest is essentially, it's like a fun little tool with interest where
As your money grows, you earn interest on that bigger amount. So it's not just based off of what we call your principal amounts. It's all the money that's growing, the interest gets earned on that, and it's a snowball effect. So that, along with these small amounts and the consistent putting in, it means that your investments actually end up growing a lot faster the longer you keep it. So I believe they say it can take you up to 7 years to earn R1 million through your investments, after which it'll take you another 5 years to earn R2 million, after which it'll take you 2 years to earn R4 million, and so on and so forth. That's the power of compounding. The last two, I think, are the most important, and that is time and action. Time is your best friend when it comes to investing. If I could give you a piece of advice, I won't, but I will say this: don't try and stock pick. It's very difficult to do that. What I would say is put your money in and forget about it. Right? Time is your best friend because time works with the compounding and these small amounts to help generate this cash flow. I'm sure you guys have all heard of the time value of money. Well, those in the finance field. That's a little bit high level, so we won't go into that. And the final bit is action. So you can have all this knowledge, right, about banking, about investing, about how to save, how to budget, how to do everything within the finance world. But if you don't act on it, you won't make a difference in your life. You'll end up with living in the debt. 50% of South Africans live in debt. You'll be the 50% that ends up living in debt because you don't take action. So don't wait until you're earning a salary or an amount that you think is enough to start. Start now. Start with the 50 rands, the 10 rands, the 20 rands. And I mean, if you save up, get to the 1,000 rand, and then we'll come in and match your offer. So that's just my little piece on building wealth and how to get started. And yeah, I wish you guys all good luck with the rest of your studies, and wishing you all the best. Thank you.
Right, Phelisa and Josh, thank you very, very much for your time. Time for sharing. Sharing is caring. It is shareable. Okay. So thank you very, very much. We truly appreciate the time. I'm sure you've got lots to think about. And remember that small start, that was good advice. And thanks, Phelisa, for your lively interactive presentation. I'm sure everybody is very excited about that now. So from the UJenius Club, thank you very much. And here's just a thank you gift for you, shareable. Right. Thanks so much. Why? To make it an equal picture, I'll stand here. Thank you very, very much. All right. Thanks so much. You're very welcome to join if you want to, the students. Let me just wrap up. Everybody, students. Right. Let's just wrap up. I'm going to, first of all, just before we go, thank you very much to our online audience, to the students here. It's great to have you here. Hope to see you at the next. Thanks once again to our sponsors for today, to Phelisa and Joshua, the Standard Bank. We truly appreciate it. Thanks to the library, you're always for availing the venue to us, for your time, and for running all the technical stuff. Right, I also want to say, before I hand over to Monwa, he's going to explain the networking session. We'll have to move down one floor to the 5th floor, but before you get your lovely food, there's a responsibility that you have to fulfill, and he'll explain that interactive activity. But Monwa, also thank you very much. Monwa is our UJenius Club coordinator. He coordinates all these events. Thanks to the library, thanks to Monwa. Thank you very much to our students. Right, so please just pay attention to know what happens now afterwards on the 5th floor.
Thank you so much, Francie. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Very big round of applause to all of you for coming through, actually. All right, I think my job is very easy. Mine is just to say thank you. Firstly, to our key sponsor, Standard Bank, for making our events today possible. very big thank you to the team from Standard Bank for being here with us as well and sharing the insights. They're very critical in terms of our young professionals to be quite soon in terms of really getting to grips with, the finances, which are very critical as you navigate the world of work. To aQuellé as well, who are also sponsoring this event. Thank you to aQuellé. To the library team for always being very supportive with all our ideas in terms of having events here at the library. Thank you for your support. And most of all to our students for coming through. I think this is the highest turnout we've had so far. So we're really excited to see so many faces today. And just to get into the networking exercise we have. So as we do with each of our up-close networking events, we have a networking exercise. So you would have each received a slip where you can write your name and surname, where your year of study, and something interesting about yourself. So as you exit this venue, so we're all going down one level to level 5. So there are stairs you can use. There are also elevators you can use to go one level down. So as you exit this venue, there'll be a box where you can just pop your slip in that box. And then once we all get down to level 5, the idea is that you will pick at random a slip where you then try and find who wrote that slip in an effort for you to mingle and find someone to chat to, really, and get to know them, really. So I hope you've all completed that slip. So as you exit the venue, please put it in the box, and then we'll meet at level 5. All right, thank you so much, everyone. Take care. Thank you so much for coming. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Mr. Josh.
Did you like the presentation?
It was amazing. So we've recorded the entire session, so we'll make sure we share that. Bunch of videos, bunch of pictures, we share everything.
Okay.
Just make sure, and some of the